Yeah, live. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. I know you guys are probably thinking, what is going on? Yes, we're still scheduled to later on 7:30. I mean, not 7 o'clock. But me and the lovely Sister Talk, aka Sister Therapy, aka Sister Noor, aka the best female live streamer so far that I've seen, or Somalia. And me and her literally had a discussion. We were on later. We were discussing about the fundraiser, and we were discussing, as content creators. And then she's got a lovely topic later on at 6 o'clock. Please 6:30 today. So tune in. It's about betrayal in relationships. And as we were talking, this whole debate must have came up where in a I don't know, as Muslimin, we tend to do, we're all about marriage. Marriage is a big part of half of our deen as well as Muslimin. And this is where the conversation came up. So when me and sister talk, it was a friendly debate. It didn't get heated. Hopefully it might get heated. Hopefully we don't know. I know for the sisters like that. But this whole thing came up with who should someone be accountable if someone's been betrayed, and in a relationship or a marriage, is it individual, I, or we? So I'm going to let her carry on. Go ahead, Sister Talk.
Firstly, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, subhanAllah, it wasn't heated, and inshallah it's not going to be, because, we are people who are inshallah mature and who can have a healthy debate. We can also agree to disagree. And really and truly, as obviously Brother Khalid told you all, subhanAllah, this was on the back of a discussion of various different topics, but one of them was the topic that inshallah I will have on my channel later on, which talks about betrayal. And subhanAllah, as the brother said, when it comes to marriage, and also I think why it's probably as important to have this discussion, I think, Khalid, I'm not sure if you'd agree, but especially, like as Muslims, we see this a lot, right? People say, well, why do you listen to other people's, contents? They're not relevant to us, to our community. It's like either, whatever. So really and truly, it's just, well, what can we do within our own community? How can we try to bridge the gap between, the division that seems to be taking place in all over the world between men and women, the animosity that's growing as well. May Allah protect our homes, inshallah.
Ameen.
So yeah, subhanallah. So as the brother said, how does it, when we get married, or in relationships in general, right, pertainingly to marriage, because that's what is the healthiest way for us, inshallah, to be able to find a peaceful coherence between the man and women. How do we interact in those relationships? Is it an I relationship or is it a we relationship? So I think where me and the brother disagreed was, I came from the point of, well, we agreed on a lot of things, alhamdulillah, but I'm coming from the standpoint of it should really be an I, right? Because when we are in a relationship, yes, it is a we, but first and foremost, it has to be a whole person who comes into the relationship, and i.e. to whole people, to create, inshallah, a more, harmonious experience for both of them. Now, when we talk about, romances, so like I would like to put to the viewers maybe, what is romance to you? Right? A lot of the love that a lot of us, to be honest, if not majority of us, have received has been based on condition, right? Conditional love. So you have to perform, you have to edit yourself and censor yourself to be accepted and loved by someone. So I don't know if you want to add on to any of that, brother. I'm trying to recall a lot of what we were talking about.
Sister Noor, okay, cool. Let's get into the nitty gritty. It's the bit where I want to say salam alaikum to brother Dogard. He's early. First, salam alaikum. The thing is, it's you are on this stance of I, and for me, this is where we clash, wallah, and this is where we clash. And I hope the audience and I hope everyone that listens to this, inshallah, in the future, leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know who you agree with. for me, it's the minute wallah, I say you're at the nikah, responsibility's been handed over to you. You've gone into the marriage. You've gone into your thing. For me, I flies out the window. Do you get where I'm coming from? Whether it comes to this, where the angles that we got stuck on was the betrayal bit. Yes, you shouldn't feel guilty and you shouldn't blame yourself for someone betraying you, but in all aspects of a marriage, wallah, I'm always going to be lean towards us. It's we. I can't. This is where me and you got stuck on the I bit. So you wanna carry on with that bit
Of
and
course.
explain to me where your stance is.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, where I'm coming from is if I'm in a relationship, you're completely right. I agree with most things that you said, especially about, when it comes to the nikah, a man and a woman, they both have responsibilities to fulfill, right? But where I'm coming from in terms of to add on to what we were discussing is that it's not so like the way my husband treats me, right? Now some people might think, what is she talking about? And again, correct me, but this is where I'm coming from, is that when I'm in a relationship, right, it takes me being committed to that relationship, right, and the way I show up in that relationship. Because when we think of how the world is at the moment, a man is arguing for his right and a woman is arguing for her right. So for me, I'm of the opinion of, why would you need to seek someone's right? Like if you're fulfilling your right, like that should be your
Mm.
responsibility. So in that relationship, yes, it is a we, but
Mhm.
it's two eyes that come together that
And
both,
create a we.
yeah. So it's like the analogy I was using earlier, where I said, if I was to get you a cup of water, right?
Hmm.
That is, the initiative is upon me, right? I've
Yeah.
chosen to go. You didn't ask me, you didn't say to me, hey, get me a drink, nothing, right? I chose to get you that water. The water that
Okay.
I got for you, I did that because it came from a place of me wanting to experience that feeling of mercy, right? That feeling of giving, that feeling of, because it made me feel good, right? It makes me feel good. So a lot of the relationships that we get into, I feel like we get into relationships having this kind of idealistic view of what a relationship is, not knowing that you have to show up in that relationship. And you have to constantly show up, sometimes even when that person is not fulfilling his rights, right? Unless obviously I'm not talking about extreme abuse and whatever, but I'm talking about just general, that person's annoying me, whatever else. You still have to show up. And so for me, I'm saying, don't cut yourself off the experience of love and channeling that, energy of vibrance and vitality in a relationship, because that person is now conditioning you. If they behave in one way, you end up, taking your love back, and if they please you, you give your love.
Okay,
So
sis. When you say conditioning, this is the thing. This is the angles that where I'm new. You just we're a bit of a loggerhead right now, sister. Is the bit what I don't understand is, okay, if we come back to the analogy that you said, sis, yeah, where with the water. For example, you've went out of your way. You've either realized, oh, let me get a cup of water for Khalid. In this, all right, we're gonna put a scenario where Labadin wants to come, no, like we're married. You've come out, I've come in. God knows. You said, oh, you know what? I want to get Khalid a cup of water. Did you do that out of love for the relationship, or did you do that as some type of validation that you think you're gonna receive? Now, this is the problem that means you are at loggerheads right now. Do you want to carry
okay,
on that one, sister?
that's a really good question. And what I'm saying is that it's the byproduct that the we benefits, but initially I benefit, right? I benefit because I'm the one who is experiencing, like I'm here as an individual, like every single one of us, to have this, experience called life. In order for me to tap into all the different emotions and different abilities that I have, I need another human being, right? To bounce off, to mirror back to me, to attune with me. So when I'm experiencing something, I'm initially creating that experience. I'm creating that feeling of love. When we talk about people that get heartbroken, I feel like because we have been so conditioned to look at love in a way where it depends on another human being. I think that's the problem. When my experience of this life depends on another person, that person's flawed. They're gonna let me down. Does that mean then I have to shut my feelings off? Right? Does it mean that I can't allow my heart to reach its fullest capacity to experience love in all its facets?
Yeah, but to experience that, sis, yeah, again, this is where I think, okay, you fell in love with an individual, right? And the meaning of falling in love with it, and no one can fall in love with themselves. Do you get what I'm coming with? You're meant to love yourself in a relationship. Like I say, do the self work yourself. But once you've committed into a marriage, wallah, man, there is no I left. And
But
this is where we're struggling. And you're trying to say this is taking the demeanor out of everything. And this is the thing I'm trying to stuck with you. Do you get where
okay,
I'm coming from? This is the
I
bit
hear
where
you.
I'm just totally baffed. Big up
Okay.
Shimbir Shooter. Shimbir Shooter just landed in the building. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa
Go ahead,
alaikum
sister.
salam.
Go
Yeah.
ahead,
So
sister.
okay. So let's then go back. So when you said when two people get married, right? I am marrying this person. So the initial process of meeting someone and being attracted to, I don't really know a lot about this person, the same way this person doesn't know much about me. But I project onto this person characteristics and things that I've seen about them, right? And that's what, even the creating, that initial creation of feeling attracted, or, the chemistry or whatever, it has something to do with that person, but at the same time it doesn't, because really I'm the one that's projecting that onto him. I'm fantasizing. You meet one person one day and then you go off, and then the next day, this person lives in your head, and you fantasize about, what it would be like to live in a house, to be married, to, be on holiday, raising children, growing old together. So this is a fantasy that I'm building. So if I'm building this fantasy in my head of who this person might be, I'm the one who's also creating how I'm feeling towards them. But when I'm coming off the position of it's wrong when that person shows up differently to how I'm imagining them to be, for now me to stop loving them, or for me to want to reject them, or for me to want to penalize them for being who they really were.
But sis, can you elaborate that bit when you say I am punishing them? I don't get that. I don't get that bit, sis. This is the bit
Okay.
where elaborate on that bit for me, so the audience can know, so I can really get a gist, so I can at least come
Say
back
that
with
again, sorry.
argument. Can you elaborate that last bit that you just said when you just said me for what was it?
That I'm projecting?
Yes, that you're projecting on someone, and that's someone that's a false image.
Yeah, because okay, so there's two people, right? Here I'm using psychological, theories and whatever. So there's two people. They've come from different upbringing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these two people have their own needs, right? In my household, there was needs that were unmet for me, right? Same for this person. When we come together, we have this initial like we draw to one another in the hopes that we're going to play out certain scripts, and the fact that we're going to get certain needs met. So
Mm-hmm.
why is it that, for example, if someone is, acting one way one day, but then they act a different way the next day, I have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me to be like, oh, okay, it's because in those moments there were certain emotions that were evoked in me. There were certain experiences. We have memories, we have visceral memories where in our, body, we remember certain, experiences somatically. So there is a lot to play when it comes to this whole game of love. A lot of us feel like our love and our happiness depends on another person. I'm saying no, it depends on you. And if
But
someone
then
is,
again, okay, but sis, again, you're in love. What we're saying is a marriage, a cordial marriage. You have to have some type of love for that person.
you do. I'm not saying that you don't have love for that person. What I'm saying is you are creating, right? You've seen things. Okay, why is there that for a girl or for a guy, you'll meet like, 50 people, but you will choose that one person?
Mm-hmm.
There were certain things that draw you to that person. What is it, right? It could be physical, it could be financial, it could be mental stimuli, like it could be various different things. But what I'm saying is, what you find in an individual, yeah, they're showing you certain characteristics, but ultimately you're the one that's adding a story to that.
When you're saying you're adding a story, when you
so
say,
there's like
go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead. When you're saying you're adding a story, elaborate on that bit for me.
So the story is, like I said, the fantasies that you're holding, the past experiences that you want to rectify. There's various things that play into it. So there's a conscious part of us and there's an unconscious part of us, right? Like even, for example, someone's talking about, being heartbroken or whatever. Yeah, there's people that experience heartbreaking, right? And they get hurt. But what I'm saying is, that hurt is really ultimately meant to redirect you back to a larger problem within yourself. It's not this person who's calling you or who's causing you this pain. When we look into the world, I feel like we become so victimized of the world. Women feel victimized, men feel victimized. But for me, it's like, why should your love depend on another person? Why should the fact that, however love that you're capable of experiencing and giving, why should it depend on another person? Yes, if someone's toxic and if the relationship warrants for you to remove yourself from that, you could, because that's ultimately still self-love. You're loving yourself enough not to go through heartache and stress and whatever else. And even so for men and women.
I get that, sis. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think this is the crucial bit that me and you are loggerheads. It's the bit where when you're in that union, sis, there is no. This is the thing. I don't know. I don't know where we're clashing. Where are we clashing, sister? Where are we clashing? Because you're saying individual. It's about me, and I'm trying to say no. It's not about you. It's about us, and it's about the relationship that we as a community are having. Well,
Okay.
the I bit doesn't, it doesn't sit right with me.
Okay, so
Even
let
though
me give you an analogy.
go for it, sis.
Right. So if I come to you with a cup that's half full, right, and I'm expecting you to fill that cup, yeah, you can only reach the level of whatever that cup needed to be filled to, right? But if I come to you with a cup that's full, right, and you pour into that cup, you're going to get the overflow. So when I talk about the I'm talking about becoming whole, right? As whole as you can be, because it's a journey, it's a process, right? But it's about learning about yourself, it's knowing who you are, it's doing the inner work. So when you go to a relationship, instead of you depleting, right, and me giving half of the cup of water that I have to you, right, or you giving me your half to me, I'm saying, why don't we both come in a relationship where we're both full, and the more we pour on it, whatever excess that overflows is what we pour into the relationship, right? Because that means my love and your love is not contingent on me depleting my energy or my bit of, my full cup, or either for you, but instead it's when we do choose to break up, if that warrants for the relationship, or when certain really uncomfortable situations come up, or when someone dies, because ultimately this world is based on loss, right? We lose things. That's the journey. This is the natural cause of this existence, right? Then you're not now suddenly, because this person's gone and left your life, you now cease to exist, or because you've lost someone, now you cease to exist. It's like, no, I love me and I love you, right? But I'm not going to love you from a selfish place, because I'm going to condition my love so you can act and perform for me so I can keep loving you. Or it's the fact that you are not going to be, or that I'm going to not love you and I'm going to still come from a selfish place.
I hear that, sis, but I hear that, sis, yeah. So you're basically trying to tell me you should ultimately really love yourself. Is that where
Yeah.
you're coming from? To prosper in a marriage, it should be about yourself, love myself, love I. So where does the we come in? This is
So
the bit where I want to understand. Where does the we come in? Because the way you're talking is a bit like, well, if I'm not loving Isn't that selfish?
Well, I think it's selfish for me to depend on you to fulfill me. That's
Mm,
selfish because you can only do your best, right? You can
mm,
only control yourself. I can
mm,
only control myself. Sometimes I'm going to make mistakes and you're going to make mistakes, but I shouldn't ultimately condition that love to. And when I say condition, I don't mean abuse, like, abuse and people that are mentally and physically and spiritually harming you. That's very different. I'm talking about two people who might be having issues in this dynamic, yeah, where it's like very, surface stuff, inshallah, not, like we're trying to kill each other or anything like that. Because that, you
mm,
again, even when we talk about self-love and how much you care for yourself, because
mm,
when we show up as love, that's all we give. We
mm.
don't give from an empty place. We don't give from a place of, I'm broken and I need you to fix me. And I feel like living in this codependent world, there there is people that, we are taught to depend on other people for our external, for our internal being. And it doesn't work that way. Like when I'm saying you would look at it maybe and think that's very selfish. But I'm saying, in order for me to be full and whole, right, you get the benefit of that.
I understand that. I understand that. I understand that. But isn't that a dangerous rhetoric to go into in a relationship? Don't. What did Sister Ahlam Omar said? Don't expect others to fix you. Yes, we're not talking about fixing you. We're talking about when you're in a cordial. This is, I think, a lot of people are saying. Smail just said, "I've just joined. I don't know what this conversation's about." Do you want to break it down, sister? Just for all the latecomers to,
Yes, okay, inshallah. Well, firstly, Jazakallah khairan to everyone who joined. May Allah reward you. So this really conversation started off on Instagram, and so I've got a topic coming up, and it's about betrayal. So I'm currently working with a client who has gone through betrayal in her marriage, and this video was really based on how we could, inshallah, try to, not depend on other people. Like, there's two choices, right, in any given situation in life. You could either continue and show up fully in that relationship, or you could leave, right? And both of them, you could consider them as self-love. So this conversation started off there, and then it kind of went, I guess, like now we were trying to go back and forth, and then we were like, hey, let's come on here and, and also let people give their own take on it.
I'm on that note. Do you know what it is? Well, I'm gonna copy the link to the, Sister Talks stream later on. I'm gonna put it in the chat for us. This is the stream that she's talking about. So me and Sister, basically, we just went loggerheads. How can sorry, somebody shooter just said, what did he say here? How can you take someone when you cannot take care of your of your own mental being? Is that where you're trying to come from, Sister Talk? Because this is the thing that I don't know. I'm stuck on that one because with me, I think it's always going to be both.
Do you know what? The thing is, so maybe we can look at it this way, right? We could do 80-20, right? Because
Okay.
we're always going to be 20% maybe unaware of ourselves. And, because no one has the full ability or capacity. We're human beings. We're going to make mistakes. We have things that are in the subconscious that are going to interact in our experiences, right? Or interject in them. So if we say 70% is one person's responsibility and the other 70% is their responsibility, now they have 20% each left, right? And that 20% is ambiguity. Various different things come into play. But if I'm saying 70% of how I show up in that relationship depends on me, right? And the other 20% is where I need to exercise patience, forgiveness, mercy, whatever else, right? And really, like, just take it as it comes. I'm at the premise of, in order for me to love you, I first have to love myself, right? If I know how to love myself, I'm in a much better position to be able to love you. And when you do
Yes.
make mistakes, I will be able to be a lot more forthcoming in my forgiveness and in my mercy because I'm attuned to myself. right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not conditioning you. It's like, even if you think about our parents, right? You a mum, your mum, my mum, all of our mums, may Allah, grant them every bit of goodness, whether they're here or not, inshallah, and grant them forgiveness. I mean, they carried us in their womb, right? They breastfed us. They, cried over us. They did all of the things, all of the heartache a mother goes through, subhanallah. But even in that experience, right, and there's nothing far more greater, basically, majority of the time, than a mother's love, right? They still conditioned us that love was a certain way, because they only could give to us and show us what love is, what they were capable of giving and showing.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, we have to show up, especially now when we live in a world where everything is so dependent, right? We're dependent on society. We're dependent, these rom-coms, these romance, like for us as women, and even for men, these beliefs that are getting put into or indoctrinated in young men, of them having to be this and that and perform and have this, right? Like, I feel like all of the things that I'm sharing, really the root of it is Islam, right? Because Islam
Yes.
is the way of life. Islam has the answer to a lot of our problems. But what we do is we stay away from Islam, and we believe that other things would give us fulfillment, and nothing will give us fulfillment. Like, for me to completely have that openness, right, that availability to love and to these experiences, it means that I should be able to connect to Allah. I get my fuel through me being open to Allah. And if I'm open to Allah, that means I have to accept all of the things that come with my life, whether it comes with death, whether it comes with betrayal, whether it comes with whatever, right? I have to be available to show up and not let my heart close, right? Because when we have a society that's unempathetic, right, and we don't have empathy for one another, and we don't have no compassion for one another, that's what happens. We create a society where it's heavily based on individualism, right? It's
But,
about
if you're talking like that, but sis, if you're talking like that, it's heavily based on individualism. Isn't the rhetoric that you were saying earlier very individualistic? Sorry, I couldn't even get that word. Individualistic.
individualistic. I can't even say it,
I
but
can't
yeah.
even. I can't even. But you get what I mean, sis. Yeah.
Yeah, I
If
get it.
you're talking like that now, and earlier what you're talking about, it kind of clashes, sis. Don't you think so? There is a bit of a clash there. Don't you think so, Huno?
Well, it doesn't, because the thing is, the individualism, now I can say inshallah, that we're being taught out in the world, it's a very self-centered, it's very narcissistic, right? It's conditional, yeah, because we can't go to a teacher to teach us something when it has no foundation other than your own desires, right, and fulfilling your own needs. Right? When we go to Ilahi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us, regardless of the circumstances, yeah, we should constantly be not depending on other people to show up differently. In fact, we have to edit and censor ourselves, right? And look at the world, our view of it, in a way where it becomes an alignment to the principles that govern Islam, right? To mercy, to compassion, to love. Because when we're demonstrating these aspects of what it is to be a human being, it's not something that's innately us, it's something that comes from Allah. So for me, that's where I'm saying it's very different. Society is about you getting what you want, regardless of the consequences or other people, you get whatever you want, even if it's based on other people's expenses. But when it comes to the way I'm trying to articulate it, and maybe I'm not articulating it in the best way, and Allah knows best, and
I think you are.
my words are very limited. I'm trying to come at it in a way where it's, it kind of, it doesn't contradict, but if anything, this way of thinking enhances our experience in this world. Because what I'm saying is, how much I could, okay, so put it this way, when it comes to ilahi, yeah, we have three ways. So I've heard ulamas explain the journey towards ilahi is like, think of a bird, right? A bird has two wings and a head. So one of the wings is fear of the bird, the other one is hope. So either or without the wings, the bird wouldn't be able to fly, right? Both
Yeah.
need to be there in balance. But what actually drives us forward when we think of the head is love, right? The love of Allah, the love and the just in being in awe of Allah is what drives us towards Allah, right? And there's some people that need fear to be checked now and then, and there's some people that need hope, but the best way to go towards Allah is with love, with admiration. And when we try to emulate that love in the best way that inshallah we can, and the way we can is to look inwards, because we're told the biggest jihad is against ourselves. So if I have unhealed wounds, if if I have all of these internal conflicts and chaos, right? And I'm coming to you, like even those people who've just joined, think of the cup of water, right? I'm bringing that cup of water to you, but my focus is to embody that attributes, the name of Allah, mercy. I'm showing mercy to his creation, right? Allah's shown mercy to me. It's like you give, you get, and you give. And when you give, though, your giving shouldn't have a condition. Even if it means you self-loving yourself means removing yourself from that situation, it's still with love. Like, should we go back to when we said earlier on Instagram about the breakup, right? So imagine, right now, if your partner, for all those who's married, inshallah, may Allah bless it, prolong your marriage and protect it. Ameen ya Rab. So imagine now, two people come together, like you love this person, this man loves this woman, right? They both love each other. But what if for whatever reason, somewhere along their journey, one of them decided, I'm not happy and I don't want to be in this relationship, right? And they come to you and they tell you that, right? Now, when that person leaves, for me, I'm saying, if that happened, there's two ways you can handle it. One is, what did I do wrong, right? Another way is obviously getting angry at them and being really horrible, whatever. But initially, the hurt, that after the anger, it would be sadness, right? It would be hurt. It would be feeling rejected, not being loved, because you had all your hopes in this relationship. But does that mean now, because that person's left, you now don't experience love? Does it mean that you now don't experience the joy and the gifts? Yeah, you have a moment where you feel sad and you process that pain, but does that stop you now from living and existing and really, having hope and still loving and being as open as you can to another relationship without having that fear? Or do you shut your heart off? Like, do you build a wall? And do you say, no, all men are like this, or all women are like this? I'm not going to trust. I'm not going to give myself like I did before, because I might get hurt or abandoned again.
No, well, it's kind of okay in the betrayal. I think this is where me and you got heated as well. In the betrayal thing, I don't think the person should feel guilty. I don't think the person should blame themselves. But then again, the person it's humanistic nature to feel like, what did I do wrong? Do you get what I'm coming from?
No, of course.
You're gonna look at yourself and say, what did I do wrong for me to be cheated on? But you shouldn't blame yourself, sister. You should not blame yourself.
No, of course. This is the thing, though, brother. I think, of course, because what's happened is going to tap into some of your deep core emotions, right? Or certain feelings that you had in the past. It's going to bring up something. But what I'm saying is,
Sorry, sister, I just have to put someone on timeout, man. They're saying, is she talking about her own? Forget that. Carry on.
You can say whatever you want, inshallah.
We're just having a natural conversation. Now, do you know what it is? Should we explain to people? Me and Sister Talk, we had this natural conversation. It's to do with her stream later on. Is it 6:30? Well, man.
Yes or no? 6:30.
6:30. I put the link in put the link to her stream in the chat as well. It's about betrayal. And then me and her were having an Instagram because we're gonna be doing fundraising later on for the drought. So me and her were discussing as content creators. We were going through Instagram, discussing one or two ideas. Her stream came up. This conversation came up. It's nothing to do with my history. It's nothing to do with our lovely sister Talk's history. It's just a genuine conversation. She had a client on Instagram. One of the people reached out to her and asked her about betrayal. So that's why we're talking about betrayal experiences and in marriages and relationship. Basically the whole gist of the debate that we're having is it I or we? That's what me and her are at Loggerheads. We or I in a relationship or in a marriage. Carry on, Sister Talk.
May Allah reward you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I just don't like when people are accusing us. It's nothing to do with us. It's just me and her having a natural. It's a brother and sister having a natural conversation, and it's to do with her stream. So you guys, to get more context on this debate and what we're talking about, please 6:30 go to Sister Therapy. She's on YouTube. I'm gonna leave the link to her channel and the link to the stream in the comment section after we're done. But carry on, sister. To me, I know you got that. I know, like, whatever you could do, sis, yeah. In a cool, like, I just see it as maybe call me old school. No, no, maybe call me old school person. Call me an old school Somali brother, in it, yeah. I know I'm aaminsanay maalinta aan ku mehersado aan ku guursado and the shabam is done. There is no more I. For example, let's reverse the situation. I got you that glass of water, yeah. Because this whole analogy, I love the glass of water analogy. I see Noor. It's a hot summer's day. She come through the door. I want to get my wife a glass of water. It's not because I'm looking for a self-value righteous thing. It's qofkan aan jecelahay waxaan doonayaa inta koob biyo u keeno. You know, to me, it's we. You know what the we moment comes in there? Can you understand the we moment?
No, I definitely.
I'm really struggling with this I know you first of all, you have to love yourself in anything in this world. Yeah, I'm a very confident man. I don't want to be arrogant, but as you could gather, I had that one. I'm a confident person. Doesn't mean I'm arrogant. Don't mean I'm better than no one. But I have something that, self-love. I believe in self-love. You have to self-love it. Before you love anyone, you need to learn to love yourself. But in a marriage where, especially this day and age, I think the rhetoric that you're coming with, the I, is what ruins a lot of things, especially in this modern day. Because everyone comes with I, nigga, my. It's not we no more. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Okay, I completely agree.
Even Smail, my brother, me and Smail have been going leg. My brother, I love Smail. Me and him have been going head to head in the comment section recently. But even if you agree with me, marriage is a we thing, not an I thing, sis.
Oh no, I completely agree. And do you know what? Well, when you are speaking, in my mind, I'm still trying to figure out why can't we agree? Because exactly what you're saying is what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying there isn't a we. Like, of course, when you get married, if I get married to a man, I'm not just going to do as I please, right? He's not going to do just as he pleases, because there's two parties. Two people need to be consulted in various different dynamics of the relationship. There's conversations that need to be had. All of these things is definitely a byproduct. But what I'm talking about is the root, the foundation. So if the foundation, because when it's a we, right? If you do something wrong to me, like think of the water, right? You said you bringing me that water, right? But what happens when there comes a day you give me that water and I don't say thank you, right? Or you keep giving, right? You keep doing amazing things and I don't I don't say thank you. I don't affirm you. I don't say any of these things, right? Because sometimes, like you said, human nature, I might forget, right? Or you might have annoyed me or whatever, and I might, out of spite.
But then again, say, all right, say this year, say if I'm not looking for validation, say if I'm doing that out of child in like Haski or no couple, and I don't expect you to say thank you, you're mad sinning all the time. But say if I do that out of the love I have for you, the child can you got a bore.
Okay.
For you,
I'm glad you said that.
Shouldn't that trump that notion that you're talking about, man?
It should. But what I'm saying is, even the child that you have for someone and that you want to give to them, even that child, is you're not doing it for this person. Like, you're ultimately doing it for yourself. The person that receives it.
Oh no, this is how. How are you doing this for yourself? That's the thing. I'm need your loggerheads. Please, please, entire.
Because the simple premise is, if Imika, this person does something wrong, right? and they choose not to act accordingly or whatever you, because we have expectations, right? As human beings, we have expectations. So the minute this person does not fulfill that expectation or that desire of yours, because Imika, you're saying, if I love you, it's just, it's because of you, right? But there isn't a you. There is.
No, I love you because of you, not me. I love,
No, I
look, look,
know
look. The
you
thing
love.
is, you love the person because of them, who they
Okay,
are.
so what happens
أخلاقهم،
when that
تبعهم.
person?
Eh.
Okay, so what happens when that person does things that don't warrant your love?
The way you communicate, this is the beauty of
What happens
communication.
when
This
that
is where,
person betrays
this is,
you?
look, if you do something that I don't like, ونقول له هذا ولا لا، لا، أنا أبتي وحن يجد that. Or say vice versa. Say I do something that you gets underneath your skin or something. You're gonna be vocal. You're gonna talk about it, right? Because I
Okay,
think
what
that's
if
what
they keep doing it?
I think a lot of people, there's where the problem festers. Maka, when they hold things inside and they don't voice and speak about it.
But why
Man,
do
at
you
the
think?
end of the day, no, we're not mind readers. Well, I can't read your mind. Say if I piss you off here and I've done something to you, well, or Humana don't cook it. If you're not gonna verbally communicate, me personally, I don't do this. Oh, well, you should know better. And I think that's where a lot of women struggle. I might be wrong, I might be right. Go ahead for it. Hold on. Do you want to come in?
Hmm. And that's a very good thing that you pointed out, because I think that is the root of a lot of miscommunication in relationships. And again, that comes down to people being afraid to voice their voices because they have an unhealthy attachment in some way or shape or form. There's a reason why they can't speak up, right? Because they feel like if they say something, maybe that relationship is going to no longer exist, or maybe that person is going to leave them, or maybe that person's going to think they're nagging too much, or maybe that person thinks that, because he's not providing or whatever it is, that she's not going to be satisfied or happy in the marriage. Like, that's what I'm saying. When we as people don't understand the value of love within a marriage, because you bring that marriage, the people think, right, a relationship is like two circles, right, but joined together. It's not. It's two full circles. I wish I could draw you a diagram, but think of two full circles, right, and in the middle there's a third circle, but you both contribute to it. For me, that's the we. The we doesn't diminish me and it doesn't diminish you. It's something that we are nurturing and taking care of and building and nourishing because of our actions, right? But those actions, the love that you have for that person is not dependent, because if that person goes and cheats on you today, right, you're not going to sit here and say, oh, woe is me, it's my fault, I'm unworthy, I'm unlovable, all men are this, or all women are this. And the other thing you're not going to do is you're not going to sit here now and, cutting off all your supply of love. You're going to be hurt. You're going to be disappointed. That's human nature. But ultimately, the root of it is that you're still going to have love for that person.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to know that person is flawed. You're going to think, Alhamdulillah, thank you for showing me that you have no integrity, no morals, whatever it is, whether it's a man or woman. And out of love, you're going to know love for yourself to remove yourself from that situation. And at the same time, you're going to hold love for them. So it doesn't
Mm.
leave you with a bitter taste in your mouth where you hold on. Like, this is where I think a lot of the places we go wrong is we don't heal things, right? We have all these, imagine getting to the end of a rope and you're just
Mm-hmm.
standing there hanging left. Okay, I wanted this relationship, I got it, I'm disappointed. You're just sitting with the end of that. But it's about tying a knot at the end of that rope and saying, okay, and doing the work and taking the lesson of whatever this experience was meant to show you. Because we come together for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not, when we think of love, the way I feel like love is fed to us is very dangerous. Wallahi, it's really dangerous.
Why would you say it's dangerous? Okay, why? Okay, you said the way love is fed to us. First things first, words have meanings, right?
Yeah.
When you say love is fed to us and it's dangerous, what does that mean, sis? Explain to me. What does that mean?
So I think for me, what that means is the notion of love, and how love is a subjective experience, right? And
Yeah.
it's subjective because as human beings, we're subjective as well. We have all these different nuances to us. We have things that we're aware and unaware of. So when someone gives you a blueprint for what love should look like, okay, so he should be romantic, and she should be drop dead gorgeous, and you should be getting this and you should be getting that. I feel like we're setting people up to fail. We have these
Mhm.
massive expectations because our ideas and our desires and our thoughts and our wants, is a lot of it is created by the environment that we're in. So if I'm constantly being downloaded with programs and being indoctrinated to think of love a certain way, but that way of love is conditional.
Yeah, conditional in aspects of where, like the sister said, yeah, movies, the
Movies,
media has given us was unrealistic portrayal of love. Okay, I hear that. I'll hear that. So to Ahlam Omar and to Inantea Sister Talk, big up. Kyrie said, big up Sister Talk. I love everyone in the building. Love her perception. I can't even pronounce it. What is
perspective.
going on? But yes, perception. I don't even know what's wrong with my words. Okay, sis. Like sister
Can
Ahlam
I
said in
just
the
also say,
Omar.
sorry, Khalid, just rudely
Uh,
to interrupt you, sorry. Please, like, I've been at Khalid for the last 2 hours, so I think he's sick of me as well. Well, so no wonder why you can't get your words out, because this has been going back and forth, so wallahi, may Allah reward you as well.
no, it's not. It's just, you know what it was. It was just, when two people come at two different views, and the one person's not budging, the other person's not budging, and that's why I thought, you know what? Okay, what's the best way to settle this? Yeah, let's just leave it up. Let everyone in the comment section speak, and that's what it is. I feel like some of the things that we do as content creators, the beauty that we have, all as channel hosts, as people, is we love to give our perceptions to other people so they could chime in and give us their, input. And as the chat really says, and as Sister Haram was saying earlier, there's a comment that she said earlier that really stood out to me. Yeah, and I want your opinion on this. Do you think what she said here is true, Walala?
The reason why divorce rates are high are due to the lack of communication and lack of patience. Definitely. Definitely.
Definitely.
And when we talk about even patience, right? And may Allah
Yeah.
reward you, sister. You know, in order for you to exercise patience, it's very hard, it's very difficult. Even the Nabis, subhanallah, they were in situations where, they were very tried and tested. And, we're just normal people, subhanallah. So may Allah increase us in patience and ease as well in, whatever situation we find ourselves in. But,
Um,
lack of communication, firstly, to maybe speak about that. Okay, think of this way, right? If
Me
I'm
and you were talking about communication. I remember I always say communication is key. Go for it. Sorry to interrupt you, sis. Go
right.
for it. Go for it.
No, definitely. The reason why communication is very key, and I totally agree with what you said as well earlier, and even now, is when you, again, it comes down to part of, again, love, right? When you are so unaligned with yourself and you're not looking to other people or other things to give you a definition. Yeah, people need to have an understanding, but we don't have to fit into everyone's box, right? And I feel like in this world, we love to label things, and this is human nature again, because it just makes things life a lot more easier. We compartmentalize, and things, whatever, because it's survival. You can go back to it from a survival perspective. So when we think of communication, a lot of people, when they get married for not reasons that are alignment with them, with themselves, they're getting married maybe because of fear, right? Or lack of poverty, or even for better reason, I would say, is people, just so people don't judge them, or whatever it is. Yeah, we all find our situations in various different ways. But when we don't know why we do things, a lot of us don't know why we do things, because we haven't been taught to we have everything within us. Ilahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have the Quran and Sunnah, right? But we also have the spiritual sense. We have intuition. We have something called, understanding the processes of all the different ways that we work as a human, how we function. But when we don't know, and I can't say to you, Khalid, I don't like this, or, or I'm not happy with this, or you feel uncomfortable to say this, because we're all just dancing around, the truth of the matter is a lot of us are wounded, right? And some of us don't want to do the work. So because I know I'm not doing the work and I want you to do the work for me, right? Now I can't speak up, because if I start dictating, you might take away something that I want. So a lot of the times the love we find ourselves in, it's very it's a self-gratifying love. Like I think one of the brothers said,
Okay.
yeah.
Go. What did the brother say? Is it Abdi Abdi? What did he say? Falling in. Are you looking at this comment? Was it this comment here, sis?
No. It was actually another brother. I think the brother that you timed out, subhanallah. But he did
Yeah.
make a really good comment where he said about heartbroken, and sometimes other people get with other people to get over the heartbreak, being heartbroken. And also even like when we think of how people, experience life, really and truly or not, our heart is meant to be open, right? We are meant to experience the fullness, the vitality, the various different emotions, the ranges of emotions as a human being, right? But why is it that we're very selective? We only want the good, whatever that gives us pleasure, but we don't want the bad. And when something bad happens,
Shall I tell you why, sis?
yeah.
Because as human beings, I think it's the story of I don't think it was Nabi Musa alayhi salam, where maka dabka and what was it? Nana lahorken, and he choose the dabka in it. And we naturally always choose the goodness. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah. Well, look, I heard Allahu A'lam, but
Yeah,
I actually
it's
also
along
heard
them
that.
lines.
But I heard that it might have not some authenticity to it. And Allah
Yeah,
knows
so
best.
Allah
But
knows best, but it's along them lines. As a because Eli made the other choice wrong, but as children, as people, we always tend to we're always taught about the goodness. We're not taught about who teaches you about betrayal. No one teaches you about betrayal, infidelity. You know what I'm on, sis? It's something that we I don't know. Is it new? I can't. I think you're a therapist. Do you know? You get the drift I'm trying to come from,
no,
sis?
no,
Yeah.
I do. And it's
It's
something
something.
that is very universal, by the way. It's not
Yeah.
just due to our community. I think a lot of
Mm,
people experience this. Yeah.
hmm And for me, it's I don't know, sis. What are we psychologically? Do you think we're psychologically? Can we as human beings psychologically cope with the negative? Like, think about it. Yeah. Well, you get with someone, you're not planning for this person to cheat on you, right? It's something that happens. Do you get uncomfortable? Or you don't plan for this person to not fall in love with you no more. It's something that, and you're right. I do agree with you. Is that, but then again, it's like the whole. For me, it's I don't know. I think like a partnership or a marriage, or if you're with another, it's a weed. I can't fathom in my head, and I still no
Yeah.
matter what. Yeah, that I think mega that. So yes, I do believe in self love. I do believe in self improvement. But as a what happens when there's children involved in the play then? Sis? Is it still I? Is it still an I?
Well, the worst thing is, Khalid, it still has to be an I. Because if what happens when that mother does not take care of herself, right?
Mm,
Like, even just let me just make it really simple. And I think this analogy, inshallah, will bring it home for all of us. When you're on
so,
a plane, right?
yeah.
What does the air hostess like normally instruct you to do if there is going to be a crash or if something happens in the plane? They, even if you have a 3-month-old baby or a
Mm-hmm.
1-year-old next to you, the first thing they will tell you is put your mask on first.
Yes.
They don't say go and put the mask on the 1-year-old, because psychologically that's what we would do. Because we're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, he's a baby, he can't defend. Let me, protect him. But no,
Yeah.
because there's something within the human being is if you are whole, you will have more of an impact to benefit other people because you have benefited yourself first. Number one, you know how to benefit people because you've done it for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you will be a lot more beneficial to everyone around you when you take care of yourself, when you attend to your mental health, to your physical, to your wellness, right? When you know what is going on within your internal world. Because my husband, no matter how much he loves me and he cares for me, if I'm internally experiencing discomfort and stress and whatever else and chaos, he can't help me with that. This is my role. This is my job. Only I have been with myself. Me and the shaitan have been living together since the day I was born, right? I have
Yeah.
archives that date back to when I was still in my mother's wound, right? When her emotion, her feelings and her chemicals were getting imprinted in my cells, right? So there's so much that is unknown to me about this experience. So the minute that I take the focus away from myself is the minute that everything else around me, because people are going to let me down. You know, if I'm always taking care of my husband and my children and everyone else, and because that's what society tells us to do in another
Mm.
way, because when we don't know how to articulate ourselves and get our needs met, what we do is we end up manipulating people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Become very, very, crafty manipulators, because we want to get our needs met, but we don't know how to. We don't know how to articulate it. We might not have the emotional vocabulary to say, hey, I'm feeling this. That's where a lot of us, we turn to anger, right? It's easy for us to exhibit, and portray anger because it's acceptable. Because when you do that, people will listen. But that's what I'm saying. When we let things get to a certain point, that's when we lose disconnect. So what I'm saying is, why don't we connect to ourselves? Because my husband, no matter how much he wants to plug into me, i.e., to my inner world, he can't. Only I have access to that. So when I
Mm-hmm.
deal with that and he deals with his own, it's for the betterment for both of us, for our relationship, for our children's well-being, for the future generation. But if it's a we, I'm going to lose focus, because we means you're the one that has to, like, make this ship work. The relationship in totality, if we really think about it, Hornet, is very simple. It's, it has various different aspects to it, but it can be as simple as we make it. Because if I'm concentrating on myself,
Again. What did you just say? We make it. It's
yeah.
very simple. When we keyword we. See?
But Horner, with the we comes when I commit to my process and you commit to your process.
Yeah, but then
So
again,
it's
this is the
still, the
angle.
root of it is still
No,
I.
but
Because
again, no, Huno, again, it can't be
okay, so
I because it's
let's
a
let's
we.
take this back. Let's take this back, Khalid. Let's go back
Alright,
to the plain analogy, right? You're
alright,
saying
oh,
we, yeah? So if
alright,
it's we and we go on the premise of how undying love you have for your wife, right? And that you
mm,
want to give her everything and you want to do everything, and this is the love that you want to portray to her, yeah? Okay,
yeah,
so when you get on the plane and
yeah,
you want to put, because the we that you're talking about is, let me put the mask on her first,
yeah.
right?
Let
But
her, let her, and like, as a man, alright, I've got even a better analogy for you. Forget that, yeah. We're at home right now, innit? Yeah. Took a thief on also die. I, as a man, I'm gonna go out and protect my household. I'm gonna protect my. I'm not gonna protect myself. I'm protecting you and the house. So isn't that a we moment? Even
but
if I put the
Khalid,
mask on you on a plane, say I'm on a plane, yeah. My wife maybe has I don't know, breathing disorder, something. I'm gonna put it on you. I'm gonna make sure you're safe first before I think of myself in a scenario like that. That is a component of me as a man. Yes or no, Walolo?
well, it's not, because when you're on the plane, it
Huh?
doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. You're told to put the mask on for yourself first. Then when you do it, you can help other people. So if your wife is a bit further down or whatever, what if by the time you put it on her, something happens to you, right? And now she's there stuck with her health conditions and the children are there, when really and truly you just needed to put it on yourself and add to, contribute to the rest of your family. And when you talk about the simple analogy you used about when a burglar comes into the house, see, you're bringing a whole new different thing into it now, because you're bringing biology, you're bringing the physical aspects of it, because you are a lot more stronger. I'm not talking about all of those things. I'm talking about the very basic, the root of how to maintain healthy relationships. And it does not start off with me looking at what's deficient in me that you have and I need to get, or what you need to get, or what, we both need to get out of each other.
Yeah.
Instead, it's about me doing the inner work, committing to myself, right? That no matter what happens, I'm going to be attuned, I'm going to be present, I'm going to be wholeheartedly invested, right? I'm going to show up as love. But at the same time, love has, certain like disciplines to it as well. I'm
In
not
what
going to
mean?
say I
In
love
what way?
myself so
Like you
much
said, well,
that
you just said right now, Noor, Wallah shi ma'anto. You just said right now, I am gonna show up. I am gonna commit. To what are you gonna commit to? Is it a marriage? Is it a thing where both of you need to commit? Because if you're just committing right now, wallah, yeah, like you just said, I have to be full in love. I have to be attuned. I have to do this in sake to make a union work. So therefore,
exactly.
you're gonna be in a union. Then it's a we.
But that's what I'm saying. You're jumping into the we. I'm saying it starts off with the I, then it becomes the we. Like I said to you, if I have a full cup and I come to you and you pour onto that cup for me, the overflow is the excess. That's what we
Yeah.
get to enjoy. We can put another cup underneath it and get more water, whatever, right? But what I'm saying is, if I come to you half empty and I expect you to fill that cup for me, I'm going to take your half of the cup. Like, at least we have to show up, ready to create this we doesn't just come about.
No,
We
but then
starts with an
okay,
individual.
no, but look, everything starts with yourself. Well, I get that. Self in a marriage, you need to be ready yourself to be in a marriage. As Muslimin, we don't do this girlfriend boyfriend shit. Yeah, we do this. We as a marriage, as a package. Yes, I understand that, but then once you've committed into that union, or like I said, from day the nikah and all of that is over, it is not about I no more. I flies out of the window. Like Muhammad
See,
Ismail said, there is no I in marriage. It flies out of the window. Wallah, it is about us,
but
right?
Huna,
Like you say,
you're
if I'm getting you a cup of water, like again, let me use that analogy. I got you a cup of water, right? I chose to get that for you. Didn't mean I got a gratitude and I'm not trying to get fulfillment. Or I gave that for me. It's like say, for example, it's like if you give someone something, say you give a homeless person something, you give it to the person first for the sake of ilahi. That's number one, dead ilahi. Second is if you have the means to do it, and third is because qofka wuxuu tartay, not because your self gratitude. Oh look at me, ilahi qofka na wuxuu taray. Maha, it's not like that, sis.
okay, Huna, I agree. And I think it's very easy for a lot of us to say, because I know, Imika, I'm talking here and I'm very transparent. There's times where I do things and I have to question myself what my intention was, right? What I'm talking about is being present, right? Being conscious, being God-fearing as much as you possibly can, to the
Yeah,
best of our abilities. We're all in different, stages in our journeys, in our life. So I'm not saying that we're angels. I'm not saying that, it's not about the we. All I'm saying is, when you are connected to yourself and you are connected to Ilahi, right? You have a better chance of working at every aspect of you, whether it's marriage, whether it's being a parent, whether it's, being an employee or an employer, whatever you choose to do in life, right? You have to first show up, because it's easy for someone to do the work for you, right? But that person is not always going to do the work for you. There's times where I'm going to be weak and I'm going to fall short. And yes, my husband, he can overlook that. He can have mercy upon me. He can show me out of the rahmah of Ilahi, who Ilahi's kindness, what is Ilahi's kindness? How do I experience, who Ilahi is? I experience who Ilahi is through the people around me, because Ilahi controls all our hearts, right?
yeah, I
So,
agree with that. I agree with that.
so I'm
Carry on,
not
sis.
saying, Yeah, so I'm not saying any of that, but I'm saying in the moment that Ilahi chooses to flip my husband's heart in a way that I don't want, because I'm a human being, I want pleasure, right? I don't want pain and arguments or stresses or whatever. In that moment, I need to know that this is a test. You know,
Yeah,
I need to try and be conscious of, okay, my heart can't be closed. I still need to show up with love. It
yeah.
doesn't matter who it is. I still have to have an open heart. I can make dua for that person. When there's people everywhere in the world who, for a little disagreement, who have fallen out with family members. There's people who harbor so much animosity and anger and guilt, right? That it got to a point where it ruins their life. Why do you think a lot of people have marital issues? Why do you think the world, it is in a way the way it is?
Because
You know,
people are
there's
letting the
getting
shaitan
married.
win. Because the way it is, people are letting the shaitan win, sister.
But the thing
What's
is,
the
who
okay?
is
Go.
stronger, Shaidan or you or me?
Shaitan is.
No, it's not. On the day of judgment, you know what Shaidan will say to you? Shaidan will
I
be
didn't
cool.
make you. Yeah, you be like, I
And
didn't make you. I
he said,
understand that.
and he said to you, I suggested. Now,
Mm-hmm.
who entertained his suggesting?
Yeah, true.
Who fell for the bait? But what our journey is to strengthen our hearts, right? To
Mm-hmm.
use the weapon of the believer, to adhere to the Quran and Sunnah, inshallah, in the correct way. And at the same time, to know that we have biases, unconscious biases. We have things that, we're very selfish. We're prone to selfish. We're prone to want to have comfort. We're prone to, wanting to have the easy way out of things, because this is human nature. The Prophet ﷺ told us, if you give the son of Adam a valley of gold, he will ask for a second. If you give him a second, he will ask for a third. The only thing that will fill the belly of us is dust. When we die, that's when everything stops. So what I'm saying is, these games that the world is like, I guess call it the Matrix or whatever, like whatever we're in, it's about us being aware. It's about us being conscious. And I can't get that consciousness through someone else. I still have to do some work. It's like, Imika, when we talk about alcoholics, yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this before on the channel. When people have issues, the first thing you do is you acknowledge. You
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge the problems that you have. But if I don't acknowledge anything that I've got, and I'm always saying this person is the victim, like I'm a victim, this person is always doing me wrong, that's where a lot of resentment comes. When we talk about we is two healthy individuals coming together to create a whole, where then other beings can come into the world, children,
Mm-hmm.
grandchildren, and and it flourishes and it blossoms, and and we have a healthy start to the world.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, sis. But that's true. But so you are basically you're. I'm trying to hear you out right now. You're trying to. If you get
You're
back to
being
your,
difficult, Khalid. That's
I'm
what
not.
you're doing.
Wallahi, sis, I'm not being difficult. Wallahi, I'm not being difficult. Is look, maybe I'm being conditioned. Maybe I'm not being difficult. Maybe I'm being conditioned to, or maybe I'm just wrong. Wallah, maybe I'm old school. I think the minute I'm going gursudo, the minute the minute the minute I'm gursudo, wallah, the minute
Inshallah.
inshallah, inshallah, do ilahi by the way, and where is I believe
May Allah
from
give
there
you
on.
the best one, inshallah.
Man,
Amen.
inshallah. The mountain, anyone that's not married or anything, man, I'll give you one of the best spouses or who,
Ameen.
I mean, but sis, like I'm trying to, this is the angle I was going to come from. It's like, there's, I've been taught there's no we. It's like from there on, it's your individuality flies out. It's all about us. It's about the union. It's about me and her. And then we're going to be putting in family in the place. Even because do you like, especially if Eli is giving you that gift to have children as well. Where is the I no more? That needs to fly out the window, sis. And I think this is where a lot of people struggle. They bring too much I into the marriage, where they consumed and it becomes all about them. Not
Huna,
trying to honor.
this is what I'm saying. You're looking at it from a perspective of the I from a very selfish way, where it's, if my needs are not met, if I'm not satisfied, if I'm not, being made to be happy. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, maybe none of us maybe have really tapped into this, and maybe this is why it doesn't make sense. Because even for me, wallahi, sometimes it's difficult for me to articulate this, because it is a process, it's a journey, right? There's things that we're all trying to figure out. But I really do believe that there is a way that is not the way society, and it's not the way that we've been conditioned. It's a way, the more of a healthier way of life is where, when you're thinking about yourself, is not the selfish, like self-absorbed, self-centered way. If anything, it's the uncomfortableness of who you are. It's tapping into your dark side. It's tapping into all those emotions that you have not felt. It's tapping into the fact that you can be greedy, the fact that you can be narcissistic. And what it is attuning to them and transcending those feelings. It's not about holding on to them. Like when we talk about emotions and feelings, emotions, they're energy in motion. Once you put a light to it and you let your body feel that anger, whether you want to sadness, cry about it, whatever it is, right? And you really feel that and you sit with it, when it dissipates, it leaves. It's transcended, like it just goes away. And when something else happened next time, you're not attached. You don't have that story attached to that painful memory. So when we talk about looking inwards and doing the work, it's looking within yourself within a magnifying glass. Looking at the times where, you did something because you wanted people to praise you. You did something because you wanted people's attention and validation. But it's not saying, oh, I wanted that and let me keep doing it. It's saying, why did I do that? What made me in that moment want to seek other people's approval? Where in me felt like they weren't worthy, or they weren't lovable, or they weren't good enough, or that you were arrogant. But the thing is, we don't want to talk about those uncomfortable feelings. We don't want to look at ourselves as if we could be the bad person. A lot of us in our lives, we're either the victim or the victim or the rescuer. But we've also been the perpetrator. We've also hurt people. Why is it that we're so holding on to when someone did us wrong, but we forget all the times we've lied, we've cheated, we've backbited, we've hurt other people?
Say if you're not like that. Say if you're not a person that's not like that. Say if you're a person that doesn't cheat, that doesn't backbite, that doesn't, and that
Are
person
you an
should that.
angel?
You mean you're an angel? Well, say a good person, man. Like, how many people have I heard that doesn't backbite? That good, decent folk. You're telling me there's no good, decent folk left in the world? Well,
I'm not saying there isn't any good
yeah.
people, but what I'm saying is, Ilahi told us that we're prone to mistakes. Even
We are
Adam,
prone to mistakes.
alayhi
Yep.
salam,
Alayhi
disobeyed
wasalam.
Allah.
Mm-hmm. I hear that.
in, in
I hear
Jannah,
that bit.
in Jannah. We
Yeah,
weren't
yeah.
even in Jannah. So if
I
Adam
know.
alayhi salam in Jannah decided not to obey Allah when he told him don't have, the fruit from the tree, you're telling me there's someone on this earth now that has never committed a sin or done something wrong?
That's true. No, yes, I agree with you. There is some people, okay, so but there's some people that don't go out there and sin more. There's some people, them all does one accent, and does hammon, and in the ain, and in the man. You get where I'm coming from?
But then how are they internally? That's another question. Yeah, looks can be deceiving. Why does it say that on the day of judgment, the first 3 people that will be questioned is someone who said that they died for the sake of Ilahi and they lied and they're going to Jahannam, someone who recited the Quran melodiously, or I think it's knowledge, and they didn't. What about, and the other person, I don't know, he did something else or gave charity, and everyone in the world thought, oh my God, mashallah, these people, whatever. And on the day of judgment, they're the people that are going to Jahannam. Why are we told that the hypocrites, you know, there's you know, there's the non-believers, there's the believers, there's hypocrites, you know. So none of us, like none of us in this world can say, you know what, I know me, I'm saved, like I'm okay, I've got it, you know, I've got my ticket already saved for Jannah, like it's
I don't
already,
know.
I'm waiting. Nobody can say that, because there only ilahi, even in the Quran it's told us, don't ascribe yourself as to be pious, because only
Yeah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. So we don't even know. There's people that all their life, worshipped ilahi right until the last moment of death. They did one thing, and that's why they're going to Jahannam. There's people that have done wrong their whole life, and because of that one thing, they're going to Jannah. So this is what I'm saying. This world, it has so many aspects to it. But the process is not about other people. It's about you. It's saving your own soul and the people around you and the people that you can help by the permission of Allah. So it starts with you. On the day of judgment, Huna, you're going to be
but
there.
that's day of judgment, but sis, that's day of judgment, and that's you. I'm talking about, I called you a marriage, Rollo. I agree. There's certain aspects in Nord. I'm not trying to be difficult, and I'm not even trying to be rude. But the thing, me and you, where our loggerheads is, it's the whole, when you're in a marriage and then you're in a union or a golf go good city, I am always going to be on this stance. I flies out the window. Yes, I agree. Work on yourself. Love yourself. First things first, you have to love yourself to love someone else, right? Well, do we both agree in that?
Yes, definitely.
You have to quote, like, I'm a firm believer of discover yourself. Furthermore, I always preach to people, discover who you are, learn yourself, be yourself 24/7. But for me, like I was saying, so I got distracted by one of the comments here. Like I was saying,
sorry, someone's, yeah. Sorry.
Someone, I don't get this. She said,
ilah. I say Allah and I say ilah. I say it interchangeably. Ilahi.
What does that mean? Because I've noticed it. That's the comment that kind of threw me away, sis.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I
What's
don't
the
really
intention?
know. I don't really know.
I don't even know about you. Ilahi is the same thing, isn't it?
Faye. Sorry.
Faye, big up, Faye. The other day we got heated, but it was she knows it's what's it called? Open mic, Mrs. Skalaskutura. But sis, like you know how you've been on a couple of open mics, sister talk. It gets a bit tense.
Do you know what? Can I say they were a bit too intense? I think I'm a bit like, okay.
But yeah. I know. No, but sis, I don't get what this person is saying. You're not supposed to believe in Allah. What? What's this mean?
No, I don't even know.
I don't even know.
And ilah, la ilaha illallah. I don't even know. Brother,
what does it mean?
I don't even know, to be honest.
I don't even know.
I'm just learning. Like, you know, I'm very open that I wasn't always practicing. I'm from Alhamdulillah, but I'm learning. So if I do say something, please don't take it the wrong way, inshallah, and don't throw the book at me. Yeah, we're meant to give our brothers and sisters 70 excuses. So, and when you said she, I have a name, inshallah. So maybe we can respect there.
It's either Sister Talk, aka Sister Noor, or ST. Now, this is the thing, sis. Do you feel like people like this here? Side note, let's have a little side conversation. I think are we still at loggerheads, or should we wrap up our debate?
No, I think we should wrap up because Maghrib's coming.
Okay, Maghrib's coming. And plus, and like I'm saying, guys, Sister Talk has got a banging topic for you guys.
Can I just say?
Is it 6 o'clock or 6:30?
Yes, I'm really sorry, Hona. I think it might be on Friday, inshallah. Moving forward.
Are you gonna cancel? Are you gonna cancel it? Because I thought I was. Do you want to do part one or something?
Who knows? I'm not as you know, very diligent as Brother Khalid. I kind of do my own thing. Sometimes I change last minute, so please forgive me.
I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to that, man, because this is our debate started because of that whole subject. And just in case, like, you know, Faye, Hay or anyone that's just joined, me and Sister Talk were debating about whether it's the main debate was I or both. Was it I? You can't be in a marriage. How should we run that? You can't be in a marriage.
Yeah, sorry. Firstly, it was about betrayal. So we were talking about something to do with betrayal, and I was talking about my up and coming stream, and brother Khalid and me got into a thing, and really the way it started off, I think for me, was in order for you not to close your heart, you should be in a position where you open your heart to receive, you know, as much of love that your heart is capable of receiving and giving. So when someone betrays you, you know, you have the choice to either acknowledge their mistake, get your needs, you know, whatever, to move on, met from there, and keep it moving and not to repeat it again and live in the past, or you can remove yourself from the situation, but you could still have love for the person, and you don't have to cut your, you know, yourself off from love. That's where we're coming from. And I was saying the premise of that was it starts with the I, and I think brother Khalid was saying no, it's actually a we, because the marriage is a we. So I think
Yeah.
that led to maybe this other talk.
Yeah, and it led up to this talk, and we're still at loggerheads. We're still at loggerheads because look, there's bits like North here. Like let's we've got I'm gonna run it for another 10 minutes, 1 hour and a half. So that gives everyone plenty of time, you know, just in case. Because I am looking for. I was looking forward to that topic. You know, I felt like that was gonna warm me up. 6:30. Then I was gonna jump on. Hopefully, you're definitely gonna be with us on the fundraiser later on.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
definitely, inshallah. I'm here
So
to earn the good deeds, inshallah, wherever I can
inshallah,
to correct my
come
wrongs.
on.
And brother, I don't know whoever the person is, but thank you for correcting me when you said we believe in Allah, the
Mm.
God, no ilah. Jazakallah khairan. I will keep that in mind,
What?
inshallah.
No, but this person said Allah in means God in Somali.
Yeah.
That's how we
I'm
use
not
it,
really
innit? I'm not really sure what. I
Allah.
don't really get what you said wrong. I don't really get what you said wrong. Do you? What bit did you get wrong, Wallah?
When I
You
don't
say
know,
Ilahi, innit?
when I say ilah, ilahi, like ilahi,
Ilahi. That's what we
Allah.
say. Ilahi. That's what we always say. Ilahi. Maybe this person doesn't understand. I don't think this person's Somali. This is the thing, where we've got our own sort of ways of saying things in our own language. Like we're not Arabic nation speakers. We're not Arabic natives. If that's what you think, and so, yeah, people do make mistakes. But let's get back to our topic, sister. Innit? Yeah,
Yes.
I and we. What have we both for the last 9 minutes? Yeah, I want to summarize what we both take away from this debate, aka conversation, aka exchange of information. I like to put it. You know, me and sister talk. We don't really debate. We just see things from different angles, and I think that's what was really happening.
Okay. Jazakallah khairan, Sister Faye. And
It's the same
Jazakallah
thing. I
khairan.
lie. That's how we also. I think it's a Somali thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so as
I
well.
think it's a Somali thing. لا إلهي إلهي يو. أنا ما كنت أعني إلهي يو وحيسي. It's just I don't know. Yeah, carry on. So what did we both take away from I and we? Because I still believe, look, hold on, in a marriage, say halala, it's always gonna be we. Especially when there's a kid. It's a team, sis. We're two individuals that came together to create. And if Ilahi does give us the blessings to have kids,
I mean,
I mean, the mountain, and I wish all of that for all the people that are single. And I think it can't be I. There can't be an I. Walalo. It's just physically. I don't think this is the deficit. And I think this is maybe the problems in the West where everyone comes into marriages. My feelings. Or it's me. Or I. Well, where are we going wrong? What can we do? How can we improve? That's how I kind of see things. Sis.
well, no, I
Maybe I'm wrong.
totally agree. For me, though, I wouldn't agree with adopting the notion of the West or any other notion. I am of the premise, and I'm going to stick to my side of, you know, and maybe later on, Allah knows best, maybe I might, but I believe that we are both saying the same thing, but in just different ways. For me, when I say it's about the I'm not referring to a very self-centered, self-absorbed I. I'm talking about taking accountability and responsibility for your emotions, for your thought processes, and also for your actions. So before I do an action, whether it's to feed my child, to do something for my husband or my family or my household, I have to first be in alignment with my thoughts. I need to think good. I need to do dhikr. I need to be in a spiritually, well-nourished place for myself. Then I go and take care of other people in my household, because then I that is love. That's something that I want to give to them. but I'm not giving to them at the expense of myself, where I'm not going to be no use to anybody, man or kids or anyone. In fact, I'm going to be very bitter. I'm going to hold resentment. I'm going to be, just in a very self-centered place, and I'm going to say, you're not helping me, you're not doing this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about taking accountability for yourself first and foremost, and checking yourself. Because before anyone tells me, Noor, you've done this wrong, you've done that wrong, best believe I already know intuitively and internally, because I am
Yeah, but
aware
no,
of what
say if you're not aware of what you're doing, because sometimes like we could be doing stuff that we're not aware. I think Smiley, do you want to answer this question? Smiley got for you. Said
Yeah,
ST.
ST. A marriage needs both, and need both to do things together. Definitely. There can never be an I in a marriage. It's a we. They, I think is meant to say you both
Yeah,
are in it. Or they,
yeah,
you both are. Yeah.
yeah.
And I, Ismail, I totally agree. And for me, I'm not saying a marriage is because Imika, the way I feel like the way the conversation is going, or is
Mm,
kind of being tilted towards, is I'm saying, no, when I come to a marriage, it's about me, it's about what I want, it's about my needs, and you need to fulfill them. And I don't really care about anyone else's. I'm here to get what I need. I'm not saying that whatsoever. In fact, I'm saying the fact that you are thinking of yourself and you're holding yourself accountable and responsible for your actions, your thoughts, and whatever else is a byproduct of the we. Because now you are holding yourself back from emotionally being abusive, right? From thinking negative and critical thoughts about other people, about giving out energy that is toxic and unhealthy. You're checking yourself. You are your own judge before we go to Ilahi for Ilahi to judge us. So I'm saying judge yourself and be fair and just, but at the same time lead with love. So you can love other people, whatever they do. You can still hold a place in your heart where you love them, where you don't destroy yourself and you don't destroy the other person.
yes,
I
I
agree with
agree with
both.
that.
Yeah, of you
Yeah, now
both.
go ahead.
From hearing your perspective, as you are both coming from different angles, definitely.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah,
this is a place where we say, like the sister said, really, Huna, we're both saying the same thing,
we're just
just in
coming at
different
different
ways.
angles. We're coming at
Yeah.
different angles, and that's the thing. But okay, how long we got left? We've got 4 more minutes left here. And a scenario like that, when two people are coming from the same angle, from the same, they're going the same way, but from different angles. What would be the best? And I think sometimes this causes a lot of problems in marriages, relationships, and stuff. What would be your best advice, ST, for scenarios like this?
Well, no,
Like,
for me, I would say the best advice that, and Allah knows best, that I would maybe even think of is say, look at the other person's perspective. So sometimes you don't have to be right. So even though now I'm saying this, that, and the other, I can still hold true to what I believe without disregarding what Khalid believes.
mhm,
But instead, I can now ask Khalid, could you help me to understand it better?
mhm,
Maybe I don't quite understand, maybe it's my own lack of judgment. Because wallahi, it is. Sometimes it could
mhm,
be. So
mhm,
it's really at any given situation, it's knowing, like even when I said about the eye, right? Like
mhm,
this is another maybe way that I could try to also use as an example, is that I know I'm gonna hold true because this is what feels authentic to me, right? Now, I
mhm,
don't need to project that onto Khalid, and I don't need to make him feel any type of way for him holding his own belief, because
mhm,
we have belief systems, right?
mhm,
But we can also talk, and I'm more lenient to want to speak to him and to want to find out.
mhm. Nah, yeah, and what I gathered as well. What did she say here? This.
Being I selfish and being we selfless is right, but know your responsibility and understand each other by showing respect and love one another for the sake of Allah. I totally agree, sister. MashaAllah.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree. It's just like what I've learned. Go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead. Come through, come
No, I
through.
was
Go
just
ahead,
going to
bro.
say, and what was your final thoughts maybe on it?
My final thoughts is there's bits that I do agree with you, sis, and there's bits that I'm gonna, later on, probably tomorrow or day before, I'm gonna look back on the stream and
Inshallah.
see where the bits that okay, what did sister talk mean about this, and like I always say, I like to keep it open minded. The more I'm doing these streams, the more I'm getting used to different perspectives. The more even me and you quite a while ago we clashed on a heated one where it took me a while to step back to understand. Okay, I get it. I understand. So with me, it's more about trying to learn what sister talk. What we do is we hear, but we don't listen. And
Yeah.
with the beauty, and sometimes with the beauty of the streams, when I'm cutting back, I listen. Like right now, I might not be hearing what you're saying. Do you get where I'm coming from, sister?
Yeah.
But hopefully, I want to go back, listen, deep it, and sink it in. Go ahead, Walla.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say vice versa. And maybe I'm glad you brought that up because to be honest, I don't think it was heated. It was just a sense of, because sometimes, we could be in situations and
Mm,
the way the situation is orchestrated, it could create a sense of, trigger within us,
mm,
right?
mm,
And I think I mentioned to you as well, like I went and I reflected back and I took accountability. Even I remember sharing
uh,
with you when I dig down deeper under my
uh,
emotions and whatever else,
mm,
why maybe I kind of came at it from that other
mm,
angle. And
mm,
afterwards, I realized it wasn't coming from a place, it was coming from a place of hurt, right?
mm,
And
mm.
again, this is not where we shame one another or
No, no.
because I don't, like the brother said, we don't have a lot of these, maybe more so now, alhamdulillah, but I
Mm,
don't think we have it as much to be
mm,
able to listen and not just
mm,
listen, but to really hear one
mm,
another and to
mm,
not get defensive. When
mm,
someone shares their truth, sometimes it can trigger us and then we can make it about us or, vice versa. But really is knowing that, wallahi, the way people feel a lot of the time has nothing to do with us.
mm,
We all have our own wounds and issues that we've been through that we're dealing with. And sometimes, you feel like, oh, I've gotten over something years ago and it's not a problem. But wallahi, because maybe there is still some residue left, and Ilahi
mm,
wants to clear out your heart, or Ilahi wants to remove that, that barrier
mm,
from your heart so you can
mm,
open yourself to the fullest, inshallah, to
mm,
love and to see Ilahi and to
mm,
experience the beauty of Ilahi. That could be a reason. But it's not about shaming. Like for me, I feel like if things are done in a healthy way, we
mhm,
can have honest conversations. I can be wrong, and you know what? I can go off and self-evaluate and
yeah.
try to figure, and understand things. And I can come
Mm,
back to you tomorrow and say, Khalid, well, I like,
mm,
what? Because of that, I saw this a different way, and maybe
yes.
that moment I wasn't really present, whatever it
Mm,
is. And it's about allowing ourselves to be accepted and allow people to have those experiences because that's how we learn. But if you
mhm,
shame me, if I shame you, if you guilt
mm,
me, if you belittle me, whatever, then I
mhm,
keep that back in. And then I move on thinking in the world that I can't express myself. But
mhm,
it's about doing things in a tasteful way, in a respectful way, and
mm.
overlooking each other's faults.
Yes, and that's what it is, and I think like that's the main ethos. Sometimes we we do get carried away sometimes on the panels, and even sometimes I've had my Khalid, you shouldn't done that, and even me myself, I deep what I say, but at the same time, it's a learning curve, sis. Like I always say, and I think everything, the journey, especially like as you as a fellow content creator, you're going through your own amazing journeys where you're experiencing things yourself, so you kind of see the content creating aspect of it. But sometimes when I have conversations with you and as viewers as well, sometimes it's like you gotta look at yourself. And the beauty of what I do is, you can actually reevaluate yourself. And I
Yeah.
think like that's what's kind of actually getting me better and stronger. Because I look at certain streams and I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's how certain people feel, and this is how certain people perceive things and understand things. Like the other day when we got heated exchange, and what I like to do is I like to look at a stream and what did I gain from that stream? What have I learned from that stream? And that's hopefully fully, the viewers on SS, they could always, take that back and say, what are we learning? What have we taken away from something? and I hope everyone else, like, with lovely sister talk. And again, I'm gonna pressure you, sister. Yeah, right now. Yeah, I'm gonna pressure you right now. You've got a
Yeah.
brilliant topic. I want to hear that topic. Half an hour about a day, man.
So listen, I'm good at my energy. Well, doing this whole YouTube thing, like I said, it's new, and even for me, it's way out of my comfort zone. Well, like I
Yeah,
bring, and there's so much that gets triggered every
yeah,
time in YouTube because I'm
I
kind of
know,
like it's just it's something different, and I'm learning to
I
be
know.
tapping into different sides of myself. But
Yeah,
inshallah, I'm gonna see wallahi. So this is for me even demonstrating self-love, right?
yeah,
I made a
yeah,
commitment, wallahi, I do want to fulfill it,
yeah,
inshallah. So I'm gonna take a little break, and if I do feel better,
yeah.
inshallah, I will definitely come on. Because the thing is,
Go-
I don't want to feel like I don't want to come and give something because I feel like
mm,
this topic had a feel of a different energy.
I
So I have
know.
to, inshallah, kind of
Because
have
it's
a
a big
water
topic. When I
moment,
looked at
have
it,
a cup of
what-
coffee, and then
I know. Well, no, but because when I looked at it, I was like, ooh, betrayal. Like in a relationship, how to overcome betrayal. Well, like when I looked at it, I was like, ooh, that's how our debate even started today. Like, I wouldn't even call this a debate. I'll call this an exchange of different perceptions. I can't even pronounce it today. Perceptions. Yeah, that's it. I need to take it slowly.
alhamdulillah. Yeah,
Yeah, finally, all day I've been trying to pronounce that word, perceptions. So, I was like, for me, like I said, I was looking forward to it. I wanted you to do that so I could warm up listening to you. Boom. Then later on, 7 o'clock, I could get onto my show, innit? Yeah. And
inshallah,
something for and maybe look, it's something for the audience to look forward to as well. Keep them warm. Well, if
inshallah.
you could do, at least you could do half of it. Maybe I'm trying to do it for the SS family as well. I'm being selfish right now.
Subhanallah. Do you know what, Huna? Well, like for me, when I do things, inshallah, is with the
Yeah,
intention to, and like I
yeah.
said, that stream really was solely for the person who reached out to me. And I
Mm,
wanted to put it in a way, inshallah, where it's more, um, like sort of, I don't know, like even now, like I think this discussion's left me thinking of various different things, right? So it's about getting my own thoughts in check because I don't want to come on and say something and because our words are very impactful,
I
subhanallah,
know.
when someone's very in a vulnerable state. And wallahi, I don't want, that's a bigger manner, and I don't want
Hmm.
to put anyone in a position where I'm not authentically aligned and I'm not saying things inshallah from a good place. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to kind of reflect, but inshallah, you never know, wallahi, inshallah. And plus I was
Yeah.
at work as well before we got on the conversation. So this is like almost 3 hours of conversation,
I
and
know.
then I was at work and it was a lot. So I'm
I
gonna see.
know. Well, if you can let me know, man, because I think that's a brilliant. Again, people go here. I'm gonna put the link in the comment section to Sister Talks channel, and no, not Sister Therapy. I'm gonna put it back on Sister Therapy's channel. And on that note, it's been a brilliant, interesting debate. You guys, let us know what you guys think in the comment section. Please share, like, and subscribe. Um, I'm gonna leave Sister's channel link in the channel, so hit her up, get her up to some subscribe list, go listen to the content. Like I said, the best Somali female live streamer. I
Okay.
don't care. I said it, and I'm not gonna take that back.
Extra pressure that's not needed. May Allah
That's
reward
not
you
extra. Until
with
I see
the
a better sister,
intention.
sis, you know me, man. I'm an honest guy. Until I see a better Somali sister on live streams right now, I'll be like, you know what? Sister Talks the second best. But for now, you're sitting on the crown by yourself, innit? Yeah. So, like I said, her channel is Sister Therapy, brilliant. I hope to God, and I was looking forward to it. Well, she's gonna keep us on a suspense. You get where I'm coming from. Like Sister Faye said, everyone hit up and subscribe to our Sister Therapy's channel. I really wanted to do this topic today, so I'm gonna pressure her. Even later on when we do the speakers corner and the speakers club, and when we switch off, I'm gonna like, nah, yeah, dhexda. What's some random حيران dhexda was it dhexda xidho dumarka dhexda xidho innit? So dhexda xidho and
Khalid,
hopefully
what are you? Listen, we're on live sahib,
I
inshallah.
know I'm once we love it. But like I was
Even
saying,
though, like, I'm talking about when you say not definitely, I know what you mean. You're saying like you get yourself together and kind of come on, but I'm talking
yeah,
about live because I feel like when I'm copping out and
mm,
I'm sitting here now going I can't let people down, but inshallah khair. Well, I will definitely try, inshallah. Oh,
yeah.
sister. Oh no, you know what? May Allah reward you, sister.
What did she say? I cannot be.
Because I can't even be consistent. So bless her, love. Do you know what
No,
sister is subhanallah? It's a journey, isn't it, for all of
it's
us?
a journey. Like I say to a lot, because Sister Faye, she's a YouTuber. She just started out as well, innit? Yeah, it's like
Yeah, please hit up
consistency is
Sister
key.
Vay as well. Sister Vay, please put your link down if you
Put
can.
your link in the chat. No, she just, I don't know. I went on her channel the other day. She took all the videos off. There's nothing on her channel no more. I don't know what it is. I think she's rebranding and until Hakudai Garama, you know. I think what it is finding timing for this, isn't it? And especially if
Yeah.
you're going to be doing live stream on topics, it is she goes, I deactivated
Activated it.
it. I don't even know.
She deactivated it, subhanallah.
That's yeah, me.
Inshallah. May you
Mhm.
back to it, inshallah. If it's khair, inshallah.
Yeah, if it's fair, then yeah, man. Sis, a lot of people don't believe. You know, live streams take a lot of energy out of you. I like
Wallah, it does.
it does. It takes a lot of energy out of you, and
And especially
hopefully,
you,
yeah,
subhanallah, you do like 8 hours. The
man.
most I think I've been is like an hour, just over an hour and something. And it
I
took me
think
like
this is going
3
to be my
days
shortest
to
one.
recover.
Since this is going to be the shortest one so far today, and it's only been an hour and 40 minutes. But like I
Alhamdulillah.
was saying, we're going to be back at 7 o'clock for the fundraiser, Ghetto for the drought, inshallah. We're going to be taking breaks. Yes, always, sister. We're always here to support our people, Somali people,
Alhamdulillah.
Muslimin, human beings, all Muslims as well. Big up all the Muslims on here, inshallah. Khair. Come back at 7 o'clock. We're going to be doing the live stream. Hopefully, Sister Talk, Mohammed Norway, usual regulars will come involved. We're going to be talking about climate change, droughts, famines, and how we could prevent ourselves. How can we be more prepared and stuff like? And again, assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Hit up the share button, hit up the subscribe button. And again, I'm going to leave the link to Sister Talk's channel in the comment section. So hit up her. She's got the juiciest subjects. And some of you sisters jump on a panel one day. We're going to organize somewhere a space for Hablaha to go talk. Sometimes I know, you know what it is, sister. Sometimes you know the girls get nervous with the man them around. Our sister has got a channel for you girls to come on. For all the sisters that you know, all the Muslim sisters, her channel's not exclusively for Somalis, it's for all Muslim women, women in general. They talk about men and women subjects, but it is sister talk, sister therapy. أحشوننا حبلنا sponsor جرينا Somali دينا ضد في عمباتين sometimes إنه ضد حنبا نقول نقطان إن أنتنا نعاونه شعالك إن 2020 catch you guys 7 o'clock in an hour and a half time. Yeah, assalamu alaikum, blessed.